Welcome to Back from Birth, week 5. Here's your exercises. Lunges. Holding onto a chair or a wall for support, we're going to take a step forward with one foot, lifting our back heel off the ground, and now we're going to drop our back knee to the ground. Just lowering it down as far as you can. For now, it might be a little pulse, and that's fine. You'll feel this in the leg that's working, as well as the front leg because it's stabilizing. Keep your chest nice and upright, and then just swap it over, take a step back, bring your other leg forward, bringing the back heel off the ground, and drop that back knee as close to the ground as you can get. Side plank. On our mat, we're going to stack our feet on top of each other, put our elbow under our shoulder, so we're in a nice line. Before I go up into my plank position, I'm going to think about activating my pelvic floor. So I activate, turn that hold on, and then lift my hips up. You're going to hold this position. Push-ups on our toes. Coming up into our push-up position, we want to activate our pelvic floor and our transverse abdominis before we go through the movement. So think about those 2 points. Activate, keeping my spine nice and straight. I'm going to lower my chest to the ground. Glute bridge marching. Coming onto your back, bringing your heels towards your bottom, hands on the mat and our head resting on the mat. We're going to think about activating our pelvic floor, our transverse abdominis, and getting a good spine position. So if you have a big pelvic tilt, we want you to tuck that pelvis under to get a nice neutral spine. Whilst we're here, we're going to activate pelvic floor, transverse abdominis, as well as our glute muscles. We're going to push up through our heels, coming up into our glute bridge position. And from here, we're going to march. So lifting one leg off at a time, maintaining the weight in our heels, and keeping that pelvic floor and transverse abdominis activation the whole time, and then coming back down. Arm and leg extensions. Coming onto all fours, we've got our knees under our hips, our hands under our shoulders, whilst activating your pelvic floor and transverse abdominis at once. We activate and hold whilst extending one arm and one leg. Return back to position, whilst maintaining that transverse abdominis and pelvic floor position, activate the other hand and leg. Trying to minimize any movement in your pelvis, and that really strong core stability and that pelvic floor activation helps to control that movement. So activate and hold whilst doing a single arm and single leg. Tricep dips. So coming onto a lounge or a step, we're going to put our hands on it just outside our chest here, bending our knees, and we're going to push up onto our heels whilst extending our arms. Our lower limbs here are our weight point. So we're going to bend our elbows so it lowers our weight towards the ground and drive back up by pushing up through your hands. To make it easier, bring your feet back towards you so that your feet's carrying some of the load, so it's less for your shoulders and your triceps. To make it harder, extend the limbs so that the load is further away from you. Wall sit. Find a wall, taking our feet shoulder width apart. We're going to sit up against the wall, keeping the weight in our heels. You'll feel this in your lower legs. While we're here, we're going to activate our pelvic floor and our transverse abdominis. So we're going to increase the compression inside our abdomen and think about activating our pelvic floor while we're here. This is a hold position, so you will feel your quads activating. Plank, hands to elbows. So coming into our high plank position, I've got my hands under my shoulders, my legs are extended, my toes are on the ground. From here, thinking about activating my core and my pelvic floor, and I'm going to go down to my elbows and push back up onto my hands. From here, we're going to repeat with the other side. My body stays nice and strong like a ruler, and I have that constant core activation. Bicep curl. Using a TheraBand if you have one, or some weights, cans of beans, 2-litre milk bottles, whatever you like. If you're using a band, you're going to stand in it, grab one end each side, and bend your wrist towards your elbows. You'll feel this here in your biceps. My body is nice and straight. The only thing moving is my hands towards my shoulders.